Hey, look at that. Okay. I'm streaming again. I've got to figure out what's going on with my computer. At 10 o'clock every night, it restarts, and I forgot about that. It's that whole deal about doing automatic updates, and it hit 10 o'clock, buddy, and it just shut off in the middle of the stream. Woo! Okay, getting back to things. Let's see. Everybody will start hopefully coming back in just a minute. Let me get my chat window pop back out. Hey, Ray, there's Ray, and it's on. Whoo, good. Really first again. Okay, let's see here. Let me get this. Let me fix this pinned comment. Okay. Let me get this up here. Get my OBS sorted back out. Get this back. Where'd it go? I don't want that. Dang it. There it is. Pull this down. Hit this button. And this button. Now I have a web browser if I need one. Okay. As I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, I have three 50-ish millimeter lenses here. All three of them have a characteristic that makes them unique, and all three of them work exceptionally well as general purpose photography lenses. The first one I was talking about before the stream was rudely shut down by the computer, and I will sort that out as soon as I finish this stream, is this is a SMC Takumar 55mm f1.8. Okay, this is like the nifty 50 of the Pentax, vintage Pentax era. These lenses were typically very inexpensive. They have a fairly large aperture, considering what you're getting. It's a lot of glass to be able to do shallow depth of field portraiture, or, you know, what's the minimum focus distance on this thing? Let's see here. Looks like about 1.5 feet. 18 inches. That's pretty darn close. I mean, for 55mm, this is a wonderful general purpose lens. I would be completely comfortable with this lens on, like, well, a full frame camera, so that it's not so telephoto-ish, because you put it on my little SL2 and it's going to be like a 80mm. Now you're getting into portrait lens territory for sure. But if I was going to go on a trip, this would be a great lens for that trip. Now, this lens does have a mechanical aperture. That's something that's really nice. So you get your ASMR in. Of course, the focus ring makes no sound. Whatever. But let me see if I can see my audio. Can you even see it on the mic? Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, you can see the little sound bar jumping a little bit. But it's a wonderfully made lens. Now, what this lens is it's small. That's its main characteristic. Of course, all of them have an adapter, and the adapters are essentially the same size on everything. But you can see how little this lens is. That's a 55mm f1.8 lens. That's a fast aperture lens to be the nifty 50, as they would say. And for some reason, people have decided that the nifty 50 is not a good lens, when it's a wonderful lens. I don't know. I see people that can take the nifty 50 on a camera and take beautiful, stunning photos, do portraiture. Sierra's got a little friend, and well, she's not little now, she's grown, but she was little back then. And she had a little, like, Canon Rebel T2i or something like that. It was maybe a Nikon D3300. It was some kind of little simple camera. And for it, it's the 35mm f1.8. And she was doing portraits, and they looked good. They looked really good. So, yeah, don't let the nifty 50 pull the wool over your eyes. All right. The next lens I have is a 50 millimeter f1.4, and this is that Pentax from last night. This is the one that I've had kitted with my SL2. I had to work long hours today. I didn't get done in the machine shop until after 5 o'clock. It was late. Let's see. I can probably show you. I don't think I took a picture of the actual parts I'm making. Let me see. I did get some of the pins. They got these little pins, you got to press them in. Actually, you don't press them in. We'll get back to that story in a minute. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send this, I'm going to email this so I can share it on stream. Let me see here, where's it at? Email, there it is. I'm going to send it to myself so I can get it into the computer and I can show you guys. There we go. Send that one, whatever. All right. The next lens is the 50 millimeter f1.4. Now this is your classic big gun glass. Now you can get bigger than f1.4. That's a thing. f1.2 and such as that. But shooting those wide open, the depth of field is so shallow that it's almost pointless to use it in manual glass. f1.4 is pretty close to that. There's times, ooh man, I'm probably tired is why I'm yawning. But there's times when this lens, hey, Woody jumped in. Look at that. You had a great photography day photographing the eagle release in Shenandoah. Nice. You were going to do that yesterday. Woody mentioned he was going out to photo document them doing a release back into the wild of an eagle. And he said it actually went really well. That's awesome. Dude, that is cool. If you'll email me one of your photos, I'll put it on stream. You have to send it to my GeorgiaPhotog@gmail email address. If you don't have it, then I'll drop it in chat. Here, let me just do that. There's the email address. If you've got photos that you've already edited. But this lens is the one that everybody wanted, if that makes sense. Hassan says, one of the reasons I moved away from Nikon is their lack of aperture rings. I love to have the smallest lenses with aperture rings. Yes, this one has a butter aperture ring. I mean, listen to this. Sweet, dude. You can tell a well dampened aperture ring click. This is a machined aluminum aperture ring, and it's got nice positive clicks. But this lens takes wonderful photos. Now, I was mentioning before the stream got rudely cut short, this one's got some fungus in it. And it's over on one side. There's a little patch growing on one edge of the lens. So I'm going to order one of those ultraviolet fingernail gel hardening lights. And I'm going to do Carmen Taverna's trick of using that to kill the fungus. I was going to sit it out in the sun, but the sun ain't been coming out. It's dadgum rainy. So I'm just going to order one of them and use that on it and see how well that works. Because this is a beautiful little lens, this 55 f1.8, but I saw that fungus cropping up. It's right there. I mean, I can see it. It looks like a smudge on the lens, but when you clean it, it don't go away. You know, and it looks like it's growing out. You can see it looks like it looks like it's got roots growing across the glass. So yeah, I'm going to do that to that one and clean that up. But this 50 f1.4 is in perfect condition. This is a wonderful lens. This lens is your bokeh machine. If you want the blurry backgrounds, you get the 50 f1.4. You can do some really creamy background portraiture with it, and it's not enormous like the 85 and 105. I could get that 105 down up there and show you. It's almost 3 times the size of this lens. To be double the millimeter focal length, it's huge compared to it. So, you know, if you want to If you want to keep your kit compact and still be able to do wonderful portraiture or street photography or general photos, family photos, the 50 is a wonderful lens for that. And you don't have to run it wide open. Now, this is a heavy lens compared to this one. They're pretty similar in weight, but this one does have more glass in it. You can tell it's heavier because the elements are larger. There's larger. Then the third lens I have is the lens I would take. Honestly, I wouldn't be afraid to take this on like an extended vacation, on like the hiking trips. This would be a great lens for that because I run those lenses stop down most of the time. Now, where did I put it? Right here. This is the camera I took last time, but I had a different lens on it. Now this is the 35 millimeter f1.4. That's the 50 mil f1.4. Well, if you take off this lens hood so you can get a difference, you can see this lens is engineered for crop sensor and for the flange distance. So this lens is a lot smaller than what the standard SLR footprint having to be adapted out to get the focus distance right is. When you can engineer the lens to fit the actual mirrorless flange, you can make it a lot smaller. Of course, this is a crop sensor image lens. You know, it's meant to project onto a 15 by 24 sensor or 16 by 24 sensor plane. So you get that, but it does make for a nice compact little camera. I really like this lens. It turned out to be a gem. For general photography, that's a great little setup. But this is the 55 millimeter f3.5 micro Nikkor. Yeah, f3.5. So this one has a lot less aperture, so you get a lot more of your background in focus if you're doing portraits. But what this will allow you to do is focus a lot closer. So if you were like at a wedding, oh, look at there. I have a picture. Okay, let's see. Let me just see if that'll do it. Hey, it did. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right, here we go. I'm going to finish with this lens, and then we're going to jump onto these other subjects. But the magic here is like, say you're a second shooter at a wedding, and you fitted out a camera with this lens just for details. So you can actually get photos of, you know, like the table setting, or maybe they had monogrammed silverware and you want to get the monogram with it creamy bokehing out behind it. Even at f3.5, this will generate some significant background blur. I mean, the depth of field is going to be shallow when you get up close. But you can do all kinds of close-up photos. Now, moving subjects, I wouldn't be afraid to use this on static stills. But like if you're trying to do the wedding rings on their hands with this manual lens, you better take a bunch of pictures. You know, the whole law of averages. One of them will probably be in focus if you take 30 photos. But if you just take one, you best be on your A game, because you might not get it in focus. Ask me how I know. Now, there's the aperture ring again. Listen to this monster. I'll just be honest with you. This aperture ring don't sound as good as the Pentax aperture rings. And I think it's because of the way they generate their detents. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. They all normally run like a wave spring. It's a little piece of flat metal. I used to think they put ball bearings in them, and some of them do, but most of these lenses have like a little piece of flat, real thin sheet metal, and it's spring steel, and they'll bend a little divot in it like that. And then on the inside of the aperture ring, there's little grooves milled in it every so often where the aperture is, and that little divot will pop into that groove, and then you'll push it, and it'll spring down and pop up into the next groove. So it's like a little leaf spring. And this one has, here's the magic of this lens though, is it'll focus so much further away. You know, if you run this on the max focus, let's see here, let's get the gauge lines the same. Look how much closer it'll focus. The further the lens, the front element gets away from the camera sensor, the closer the focus happens. And that's the gauge line between the two. So yeah, it's about twice what the 51.8 is. So yeah, you can do some really close up detail photos. I like using these for my trips. These work great. Like I was talking last night, I did a trip up the New England seaboard with me, Teresa, and Sierra several years ago, and I took the D810 and the 60 millimeter micro Nikkor and used it for everything, literally everything. I don't think I used a different lens. I took a couple of other lenses, and I don't think I ever mounted one of them. I ran that 60 millimeter on the D810 the whole trip, and the photos look great. They are really great pictures. Let's see here. Love my compact Sigma Primes. Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. You got me jonesing for some of them. I looked the other day at their 105 fast aperture art lens. I think they got a 105 f1.4, but that thing's enormous. You know, to get a focus motor in there, I guess they got to have a lot of real estate. But that thing is huge. And it's also $1,600. Hassan says, you have an image from the Sigma 90 2.8 of an older lady looking away from the camera. Great image. I'll have to dig that up and see. Woody sent one photo. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got it. All right. Okay, let's change. What do you call it? Let's change gears for a second here. Okay, I'm gonna talk about these pins for a second. The pin on the farthest left is what they're supposed to look like. Okay, I had 20 of these to install today. These 3 were not reusable, as you can tell. What happened is these pins are about twice as long as you can see above my thumb. And the other end of it looks exactly like this end. So they were just a little bar with 2 turned down shoulders on either end with the exact same feature on the other end. And they're about 2 inches long. Okay, so here's the deal. They're 2/1000ths of an inch bigger than the hole they go in. So here's what you do. You heat up the plate that has the hole in it with a torch, and the metal expands, the hole grows 3/1000ths, and the pin just slides right in. Here's the problem. The moment that pin contacts that plate, it starts absorbing heat out of it. And if you don't push that pin in quick enough, it'll stick. And once it expands, it bonds to that plate. And now they're at the same temperature, and now it's an interference fit. And you push them off with a bearing press. And as you can see on the one on the far right, the punch I put on the end of the pin actually sunk up into that pin to the point that it completely mushroomed the end of it, just pushing it out with a press. You know, not hitting it with a hammer. That's what those dimples in the 2 middle ones are from. And you can see the galling on the body where the pin had started into the plate, and it was only in it maybe 1/4 of an inch. But it bit so well, it just shredded the pins. So I had to make new ones. I had to make a bunch of them today. I had a lot of trouble with that. See, I had this false sense of security because I did the first one and it went perfectly. I thought, oh, dude, I'm going to blow through these. I'll be done in an hour. 4.5 hours later, I finally finished putting them stupid pins in. Those parts. I finally finished those jobs today. So I am so happy to be past that. Okay, let me go back. And now let's see. Here's Woody's. You're looking at my email. Super secret. It's about ham radios and what's the other one? Morse code. Oh wow, Woody. That's awesome. Look at the talons on that monster. Okay. You're gonna have to bring me up to speed on what I'm looking at here. Is this a juvenile bald eagle because they don't turn white for several years on their head, if I remember right. Phil would know if he was here. I don't know if Ray's still here or not. If y'all haven't done it yet, hit the like button. We need them likes, you know. It's cool. But that's an incredible photo. Dude, that thing's enormous. But look at them talons. Yeah, tell me they're not a dinosaur. Look at them talons. Man, that's awesome. Yeah, I can see why you went and did that. Absolutely can see why you did it. Thank you for sending a photo for us to share on the stream. 5 years on average. Okay. Thanks. Bass angler and you. So yeah, that is a juvenile bald eagle, isn't it? 2-year-old eagle. 5 years before it turns as white on the head. Wow. Yeah. That's impressive. Okay, I'm gonna switch back over to just do that. Yeah. I was gonna, let me see what else. Oh, that's the notification from Woody that he sent me a picture. I just wanted to talk about them lenses for a minute, and I was going to do that yesterday, and I got distracted, and we started on our usual rabbit holes, and then the phone call came in. It's like a young bass. I get it now. You guys are having way too much fun in this chat section. But yeah, this has been a long day in the machine shop. Then when I got done machine shopping, I went over to my local POTA park. Is this it? Yeah. And made a few contacts. You can't see it, but it's white on screen. If I get closer, will it focus? No. I got the exposure set because I've got a finite exposure. If you could see it, this page has a whole bunch of notes on it. What if I do that? Yeah, let's see. Trying to figure out how to get the light right. There you go. You can see all them notes on there now. Look at that. Yeah. Which one of these? There. Oh, wow. But yeah, that's ham radio contacts. And there's 2 pages of that. Well, you can't see it on this side because now it faces the light directly. But this is a big day for me. It's like 43 contacts on the log. That's a huge event for me. Some of them was FT8. Most of them was Morse code today. Had a good day at the radio park. Wow. Woody took 192 photos today. The only reason I didn't go out and work on my video and do some photography today was I was just beat from being in the machine shop. I just wanted to sit and relax and operate my radio, you know, and nice and quiet. One thing I like about doing a POTA park is you can, if I do them alone, I don't normally do them with somebody. Occasionally I'll do one with another person. I think I might have done 2 like that. Most of the time I do them by myself. And there we go. And it's almost like therapy. You know, it's just nice and quiet. It's just me and the radio. Yes, there's other people in the park, but they normally don't interact with me. Occasionally I'll get somebody that'll stop and ask me what I'm doing, or ask me if it's a ham radio. There's a couple of the park rangers that I'm kind of buddies with, and they'll stop and chat for a minute. But for the most part, it's like today. There was only like one other couple up at the top where I was the whole time, and they were only there for about 15 minutes. They came to do the frisbee golf, and then they apparently just done a few right there close to the car. Then they got in the car and left. So I was there by myself the rest of the day. You can read about this activation in my blog probably in a week or 2. I'm probably going to go ahead and work this one in sooner. Mainly because, let me see. You can't tell it because you can't see it. But on this page right here is my 5,000th contact as a POTA park. POTA stands for Parks on the Air. That was the 5,000th contact. I made it today. And let's see. So I also make up these. This is called a QSL card. If I turn it like this a little bit and get the light off of it, let me see. Focus. There we go. But yeah, if I do that, you can kind of see it. There it is. His call sign is Whiskey 6 Papa Uniform Golf. And he was on FD8 when I done him. So I've got him one of these photos I've done. Yeah, if I just kill the light off the picture. I did these pictures up and put them into GIMP, added my call sign and the border, just printed them out. That's just a cell phone photo. I just did a selfie with my phone. I wanted to get my radios in the picture. All of these radios are right there. Except for the SBIT-X, which is currently in its Pelican travel case. Because I had it out today doing the park activation. I plug it in. I have a power cord for it right over there so I can power it up in the shack. And it has Wi-Fi because it has a Raspberry Pi in it. And what it'll do is it'll log into the Wi-Fi, and then the Raspberry Pi will synchronize its clock with the internet, and then the real-time clock in the radio will update with the internet time. It's got a little program it runs and does that. So about once a week I'll bring it in, hook it up to the internet, let it update that. I have a hard drive for it. This makes me think of something like out of a spy movie. Let me see. Let me get myself back in focus here. There we go. Greg Cassidy, how you doing? Dude, I ain't seen you on my chat in ages. But yeah, this is the hard drive out of that Raspberry Pi, a micro SD card. It has the operating system on it, and then the rest of the balance of the memory is also on here. This is a 32 gig card. You don't normally save a bunch of files to a Raspberry Pi when it's used as a ham radio. Excuse me. But if you wanted to like have a hard drive on it, they make a hat that goes on the Raspberry Pi 4 that adds NVMe support, so you can run M.2 drives, and you can have a terabyte that way. But I think the Pi 5 actually has PCIe slots on it, or it has a PCIe connection for a NVMe drive. And you don't have to add the hat. It's native, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I know it has PCIe support. The Raspberry Pi 4 doesn't, because Jeff Gerling worked on that for like a year, trying to get a GPU to couple up to a Raspberry Pi. He worked on that and worked on that and worked on that. Like, he was compiling custom kernels and all kinds of crap trying to get that to work. But yeah, this is a 64-bit image. The one that's on the radio now is a 32-bit image, and the 32-bit Raspberry Pi OS is going kind of into life pretty soon. Man, I think it's in June. So there won't be any more security patches for that OS. But the 64-bit does. And so I burnt my image onto this micro SD card, and as soon as my micro SD port extender comes in, I'm going to run the port and get it outside of the radio. Currently have to dismantle the radio, change the card. So I'm on an email group, and these guys have all bought these it's a little ribbon cable, has what looks like an SD card on one end of it, and you plug that in the port, and then you can run it outside, and it's got a little circuit board with the receptacle for the card, and you just screw it to the case. So it's on the outside, and that way you can change the cards without having to dismantle the radio. But yeah, I'm going to do that as soon as that comes in and get my 64-bit image operational. Let's see. I wish I could get rid of this notification thing. Oh, okay. So you've been checking out the videos. All right. That's awesome. Yeah, Greg used to come around the live streams a lot more, and it's been a long time since he's randomly caught one. That's awesome. But these, let's see, where was I at? I done got down, like I said, done went down a rabbit hole about that radio. I'll get it out here after I get off the stream, and I'll hook it up. And I'll get on 80 meters, which is 3.5 megahertz, and I'll see if I can get some FT8 going there tonight. It always comes alive at night because of atmospheric noise during the day. There was something else I was going to talk about tonight. I don't remember what it was now. Oh, I know what it was. Okay. I have a confession to make. Windows 10 is going end of life a year from October, basically. And so my computer is too old to support Windows 11 properly. It says it's a candidate, but when you go to install it, it tells you about how performance is going to be hindered, or whatever the term they used was, compromised or something, because of my older processor and all of that. So I decided to do something kind of unorthodox. And I sat down and wrote out a list of stuff, and I switched over my whole system to Linux Mint. So I'm a Linux user now. And I had to come up with a new video editor. I've always used GIMP to do my thumbnails and stuff. So it's the same program. And GIMP works so much faster on Linux. Like, so much faster. The program I use to edit my videos is called Kdenlive, and I actually like it better than Resolve. Resolve's got a lot of functionality, but what Resolve does is they put a paywall up to access a bunch of the easy to use, like not just editing, VFX kind of stuff. Like when you see my videos and it's got the little mouse flies up on the screen and clicks the subscribe button and flies away. That's a little video clip on a black background. So you have to remove the black background. Well, to do it in Resolve, you have to use a 3D keyer, and then you have to go in and pick this stuff, and it's kind of a headache. And you got to remember where that keyer is, and then once you drop the keyer, you have to go and select this optional menu item to activate it, and then you can remove the background. Now on Kdenlive, you just drop on the chroma keyer. It immediately opens the chroma keyer window. You go over and select the color palette. You don't even have to pick the eyedropper up. You just open the color palette, pick black. The black disappears. It's that easy. It's so much simpler to do stuff like that. Simple video functionality is very easy to use, and it's all already built in. Hassan says, Dave, I sent a few photos, all from when I started taking photos again after years off. So don't be too harsh. Oh, you did. Let me just take a look. Update my... They ain't come in yet, Hassan. I'm going to refresh the whole page and see. I got the ones I sent of the pins. I got Woody's photo. Yours haven't arrived. Probably because you attached quite a few. Did you text them? No, you didn't. No. I haven't gotten them yet. So, which way did you send them? Email? Curious to see what you sent. I'm looking at the email server up here, and it's not there. Yeah, my email is nothing more than just basically a chat reflector of the SBitX community. The whole thing, that and a couple of podologs. I'm serious. Look at this. Let me just transition it up so you can see. Look, SBitX community, Woody's eagle picture, my pins I sent, podolog. SBitX community, SBitX, 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 I don't remember. That's an invoice for something. Podolog, SBDX, SBDX, SBDX. Yeah. I need to set that thing. I would set it to Daily Digest, but they occasionally will have a subtopic. That's where I got the version 3 64-bit image. That's what they're talking about in some of that stuff now, is that. And he's released an update to improve some of the functionality, because this is all open source. So the original radio program that's in the radio now is on GitHub. You can download it, and that's what JJ did. And then he ported it over and made changes to it to make it work on the 64-bit OS, and then wrote a whole bunch of software, and he calls it the SBDX Toolbox, and it's all these little sub-programs to help you do things. Like one's a logbook program, and one synchronizes the clock automatically, and all these little things that you can do to get it to work. Like there's special programs for ham radio use. He's got a whole bundle of them in there, and that image has all that pre-installed, so you don't even have to download them. When you install the image, they're already there. Then they install a whole bunch of stuff in that program. Like there's circuit design programs where you can design circuit boards, everything, all sorts of like electronics software. There's a bunch of stuff on them that's on that Raspberry Pi image. But, excuse me. Once again, big deep rabbit hole, because I like ham radios. Currently don't have one running over here. Like I said, I shut off the 2 meter or the 1 1/4 meter machine just so that it wouldn't interfere with the vlog or the live stream. The SBDX I used at the park, and that's why I brought it in, so I could plug it in and get on 80 tonight with it. I've been having a lot of fun with them radios lately. And they're not big, powerful machines. I think that thing is, which on 80 it's a little more wattage, but today I was using 16 watts, and I was all over Europe and the West Coast. There's a bunch of California and Oregon contacts in there. It's 15 watts. Good antenna goes a long way. But let's see. Oh, I've done lost my chat window again. I got to come up. I'm going to get another monitor. I have a plan. I'm going to get like a little 10-inch monitor just for the chat window. And I'm going to set it up like right here, because the boom of the microphone precludes me from putting it directly under the camera lens. So I'm going to set it over here on this side where I can look at the lens and I can just glance down and see the chat instead of having to look over here to the right to see it. And because this thing, I've got a RX 6600, and it's got 4 video ports, so I just wrap that thing in, plug it in, and then I'll have that third little mini monitor, and I'll just drag the chat window just straight over to it. I probably missed it, but I'm interested in hearing more about your Nikon ZF camera thoughts. My D750 recently met an unfortunate end, and I'm considering the Z6 II as a replacement. As far as I'm concerned, if it was a choice between the Z6 II or the ZF, I'd get the ZF. And the reason I would say that is the ZF has the new X-Speed, I think it's X-Speed 7 processor. I'm pretty sure it's a 7, might be an 8. It's the same one that's in the Z8 and Z9. And to get the speed up on the Z6 II and Z7 II, they stacked 2 of the processors out of the Z6. So they had basically had 2 of them running together to get the horsepower they needed to get those Z6 II and Z7 II cameras to work as good as they did, to be able to implement the special things that they were doing. And the new processor in the ZF, I'm pretty sure it's X-Speed 7. We can look it up. Let me see. I have the internet. Now, how can you spell Nikon so wrong? There. But oh, what a jip. Their AI is stupid. Yeah, I said it. Now they'll send a murder drone to kill me. Let's see. Now, where's the specs? I've got the camera pulled up. Let me just transition over here. There you go. Now, we're going to pull up the spec sheet on it so we can read about it. I thought we was. Where's the spec sheet? Full details. There they are. Hey, look at that. This looks like a kind of like that brown, and that orange is kind of cool. Moving right along. Performance. X-Speed 7. I knew it. All right. Okay. We'll transition back. The photo showed up, Hassan. Okay. Now, yeah, the speed of the horsepower of the X-Speed 7 processor, the Nikon guy on Gerald Undone, if you haven't seen that video, Gerald Undone done like a Dave Letterman show style interview with the Nikon chaperone who brought the ZF to him, and they did like a tabletop chat about it, and it's hilarious. They had so much fun making that video. But they asked the Nikon guy questions about the camera, and he was like, the X-Speed 7 processor is like light years ahead of the X-Speed 6 out of the Z6 II and the Z7 II. You know, even though it's running a pair of those processors, it can't hold a candle to the X-Speed 7. And it also has the same sensor, it has IBIS, it has all the external controls that I like in a camera. It actually has the knobs to pick things, you know, instead of just the function wheels. Some people really like these little wheels here, and like this camera don't even have one. Bad example. Ignore that. Let me get a camera out that actually has that functionality on it. There we go. Now, these little thumb wheels, I mean, they work good, and they're fine, and you know, and they're a button too and all that. But on the ZF, you actually have like a shutter speed knob, and I'm pretty sure it has an ISO knob. And you know, I'm that kind of guy. I like the kinesthetic aspect. But yeah, if it were me, I would absolutely pick the ZF. Let me get my chat window back up. X7. Bass Angler done looked it up a long time ago, probably. I definitely do like the retro look of the ZF, but an extra $600. Yeah, well, I'm looking at when the extra $600. I mean, over a Z6 II. Wow, the Z6 II is only $1,400 now. That's crazy cheap. Because the ZF's only $2,000, brand new. I've done shopped around a little bit and found them a little cheaper, where you can get the Nikon certified pre-owned. Basically, they're returns that Nikon's checked out and they're fine. I ain't afraid to buy them, especially if you buy them from Amazon. You got a month, and if it dies, send it back. Order another one. Wow, that is cheap. Z6 is a good camera. I had an OG Z6, and it was a good camera. It took wonderful photos. The 24 megapixel sensor is really good in low light, and the sensor out of the Z6 II is supposed to be the same one in the ZF. So really the only thing you'll be losing will probably be frame rate and the speed at which it writes to the memory card, and probably they'll throttle back like the algorithms a little bit on focus, you know, like autofocus algorithms, like being able to detect beetle eyes, and you know, whether it's a male frog or female frog. I mean, you know, the algorithms they use nowadays to detect autofocus are ludicrous. But yeah, it'll be a little less of that, but otherwise they're going to be essentially the same machine. And the Z series cameras feel good in the hand. I like my Z6. I just wasn't shooting with it when I sold it, because at the time I was really big into this CL, and I think I had just got the SL2, and I just never used it, and I just didn't want it to sit here and just sit, so I sold it. But yeah, I would still get the ZF just because of retro. And I plan to. I'm saving up the money. I've got most of it saved. I just got to get a few $100s to go with it, and then I'm gonna order it. I don't buy them and put them on credit cards anymore. There was a time when I would do that. Now I have the money. I'll still use the credit card because you get cash back, but I'll have the money in the bank to pay the credit card off when the bill comes in. That way I don't carry a balance. The balance at the end of every month is zero. I don't like interest. I'm not a fan of paying interest, so I'll do without something before, which it's kind of funny that I'm doing without the ZF. Who am I kidding here? Let's be realistic. I got a pair of Leicas. Do I really need the ZF? Yes, I need the ZF. But you get the point. I have cameras, so I'm just going to wait till I saved up the money to buy it. Everybody jokes with me about how I keep kicking it off down the road. I'm going to wait for the ZF too. Then I'll buy the ZF. But they also brag a lot about the video specs. Even though I got the Z50 on here, that's what I'm streaming with. I've got it run through a capture card into the computer, and so it's actually not recording. It's just in standby, and that keeps it from getting as hot. And I've got a wall cord power plug that has like a fake battery on the end of it plugged into it, so the battery don't ever go dead. So I'm running on wall power, and the microphone is a USB mic. It don't plug into the camera. It plugs straight into the computer. And Hassan, just to let you know, me and him was talking about the sync on me, or it might have been me and Bass Angler. Don't remember now. It was one of them two. About the sync of my audio to the video, and it come to find out, I had the there's an audio sync offset value, and I had it on the wrong channel, so my audio's out of sync on late night live stream number 2. So if you don't pay close attention, it doesn't bug you, but it bugs me. So I found it out. I figured it out today and fixed it. So now it's fixed, but you have to add like 500 milliseconds of delay to the mic. The processing for the microphone information is a half a second faster than the camera. And so you manually sync them up by just playing with that number till they look right, is what it boils down to. Z6 III is coming this month. Yeah. It is. The retro look is definitely a big consideration. It is for me, mainly because of the interactivity. Because I'm probably the only guy that I know that when I had the XT3, I used the ISO knob and the shutter speed. I used them. Used them a lot, to the point that the ISO knob had a problem. It got stiff, and I had to lube it with silicone oil just so that it would work right. You know, you can move all those functions over to the thumb wheels and just drive it like a regular SLR or whatever. But I like using the knobs. That was the whole reason for getting the XT3 for me, because it didn't have sensor stabilization. Otherwise, I'd have got the XH2 or XH1, whatever it was at the time. It had a stabilized sensor in it, but it was more modern camera SLR look since it was more video centric. Yeah, but the price will be very close to $2,000, if not $2,500. The Z6, well, it's more like a, what is it? The Z6 is akin. Hey, Albert, glad you stopped in. Is akin to basically like a Nikon D600, something like that, from back in the day. So, you know, the D750 is like a Z7. Essentially, you know, And then the D850 is the Z8, and of course the flagship being the Z9 replaced the D1, D2, D3, D4 big boy cameras. But so yeah, that's about right. $2,000, 2,200. It'll probably be a little more than the ZF because they'll try not to. They don't want it to be associated with it, if I had to guess. Even though it's probably going to be 24 megapixel and the same sensor as the ZF, and it probably it's going to have the XBeat 7 processor. So now you'll have the choice: do I want the retro camera or the modern camera? And internally, they're pretty much going to be identical. It'll surprise me if they don't just lift the spec page off the ZF and put it on the Z6 III page. But yeah, I do like the fact that they got the retro lenses for the ZF because they're smaller. I've gotten more lately into shooting with not big zooms. I have the 24-90 for the SL2, and I keep the 50mm on it or one of these. Like I did that video from down in Menlo, Georgia, and I ran this lens. I like the primes, and I like the size of the manual primes. I like how small they are. Like this is a 100mm prime. It's a macro. Oh, watch this. You just keep running that focus ring out, and it just keeps going. This is like a crazy good. I use this lens for product photography because if I shoot it with strobes, it doesn't matter. So I stop it down. I'll stop it down to like f11 or f16. That way I get good depth of field with it. And since it's 100mm, if I shoot it on my CL, then I can it'll emulate 150mm. Essentially, you're just cutting out the center of the frame, but you back up further to fill the frame properly with the subject. So compared to the full frame. And that just deepens your depth of field more. And it works really well. I take a lot of product photography pictures with that lens. I used it a lot of times to do thumbnail photos. If it ain't this lens in the thumbnail photo, it's this lens on the camera taking the thumbnail photo. I really like that lens. It works shockingly well. It's let's see here. Put this M42 cap on it. It ain't a Honeywell Pentax. That just happens to be the cap I had. This one is a super multi-coated macro Takumar 100mm f4. Wonderful lens. Found that one. I'm pretty sure I bought that one off eBay. Beautiful little lens. Real useful. Did I answer your question? Or did I ramble long enough you just got tired of listening to me and tune me out? Oh, I get to spread the word for Tim. Tim Childers has 3 YouTube channels. His most successful channel is called The New Retired Me. Okay, he retired from being an educator last fall, I think it was, or last summer. And when he did, he started a YouTube channel about that. And, he's just going to talk about life, being retired, things like that. And he made a video about he got into decluttering and like minimalism. He done like a minimalist video about something, and that thing went basically viral. It went viral in our circles. It's like got 1 million views, one video. My whole channel is up like 1.4 million, and it's 8 years old, and it has over 500 videos. Probably close to 600 at this point, and I'm at like 1.4 million views. So, that's basically going viral for us. Well, it basically propelled him down the road dramatically, and got him monetized and got him a big check, and he's doing real well with it, and he's able to pick up sponsorships now. They've actually approached him, so he's doing sponsorships. Well, he's taking the sponsorship money, and instead of putting it in his pocket, as he says it, he doesn't need it. He has a retirement check. He's got everything he needs. So he's created this program to where he's going to give up-and-coming YouTubers a grant for equipment to help them get started on their channel. That say it's someone who is wanting to do a very specific kind of video format, and they need a specific tool, whether it be a camera or a microphone or a boom or tripods or a ring light or, overhead, one of them things called C-stand, so you can do the pointing down camera where you do the tabletop stuff with your hands, or whatever it is they need. He's going to do a $500 grant and give that away. And he talks about it on his video a lot. Like, there's an application process, and you have to submit a video, and it's got a very strict time limit and all of this. And so if you want to know more about that, I think the channel has to have less than 1,000 subscribers. So you can't be monetized is what it essentially means. Even though you can have 1,000 subs and not be monetized because you don't have the second metric, he did put the 1,000 subscriber cutoff. So if you've got less than 1,000 subscribers, it's worth looking into. I'm just saying, it's there. So go over to Tim's channel, The New Retired Me, and you can look around it. And it literally just came out a couple of days ago, so it'll be close to the top of the pile of his videos about the grant program. And you'll find it. He talked about it a little bit in his live stream he did last week when he hit his 1-year anniversary. He brought that up and talked about it in the stream. I listened to it in the truck today while I was driving around. But yeah, it's a good program. He's got a good idea there, and he's giving back is what he's doing. So I applaud him for that. But yeah, if you're interested or you know somebody that could use this grant, tell him. He's wanting to spread the word far and wide, and the way he's worded it, if he's Hassan says, I may start a channel called Mediocre Me. Dude, turn on a live stream camera on the kitchen and just let it run. People eat that crap up. I have thought about doing it. I have thought about setting up a webcam in here and just letting it film me doing what I do in here on my computer all day. And just stream it, have the chat window on that little screen over here to the side and just do 24-hour streams on it. I have thought about it. But yeah, I bet you'd do well with that. You wouldn't be mediocre when you had 2 million subscribers. Just remember me when you get up there in the big leagues. But seriously though, guys, he is doing a good thing. And like he said, if his sponsorship money picks up, like right now, he's got enough to do 2 grants. He's going to do 2 $500 block grants. He says if the sponsorship money pays and say he makes $2,500 next year, then he's going to do 5. He's not going to keep any of the sponsorship money. He's going to give it all away in grant form. And I don't know how many years he's going to do this. He hasn't committed to doing it into perpetuity, but he's committed to doing it for this year and possibly even next. So yeah, I was impressed by it. Let's see if I can find that video. I'll drop it in the chat, drop a link to it. Let me just open up a YouTube browser here. Search. The search for his channel. There it is. Okay. Videos. Yep, here it is. Small channel creator program. I'm pretty sure y'all could hear that. Share, copy, paste, go. There's the link. So if y'all want to watch the video later, you have the link now. But let me see, what else did I want to talk about? I thought that was very noteworthy. And if y'all are on like other live streams, you can drop that link in the chat and bring it up in the chat with them too. It would be cool to spread this out. What I want to see is him get overwhelmed with applications. I want it to be that successful for him to have to figure out how he's going to handle it. I expect him to get a lot though. I mean, there's a lot of creators that are working on shoestring budgets, and they really are. They're like, their whole channel is on their phone, and some people are very successful. Oh, wait a minute. What have I just done? Oh, but yeah, some people do their whole channel, and he has a secondary channel called, oh, what is it? It's not a day in the life. I don't remember. He's got one he's doing dailies on, daily vlogs or daily videos, and he shoots that whole channel with his phone on purpose, because he's trying to learn like cinematography with simpler tools and all this sort of thing. And I think that's a good idea. And then he has his photography channel as well. But I don't remember what he calls that other one. I'm subscribed to it. I get the videos, but I don't remember the name of the channel. Hassan sent the pics. I got them. All right. Let me go back. Let me see. Nope. Here we are. Oh, wow. Let me see if... I'll quit zooming in. There, now. Let me make sure they're all going to play. Oh, dude. These are good. Oh, I like the soundboard guy. Or security officer. Okay. All right. I'm going to switch you over, and we're going to go over Hassan's photos. These are cool, Hassan. All right. I like the shadow on his face, the background. Like, I'm not real sure what they're looking at, but all these sunglass people, they look like CIA agents. It's kind of neat. It has, foreground, background elements. It's got a little depth to it. They're not really doing anything, but it's a cool photo. If there was a little better definition on the shadow side of his face, I think it would be better. Like if you could at least see the whole sunglasses, at least the outline of it. I don't know if I'm to be critiquing these or not, but I've kind of took it upon myself to do it. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's not. This image is glorious in my book. You got enough. Okay, I'm gonna tell you some rules about photography that don't have to do nothing with a camera. Okay, the human eye and mind are drawn to like 4 things immediately: the brightest color in the image, human faces, the area of the highest contrast, and was it the color is, maybe it's a color like the color red or very bold colors. So maybe that's the 4. I don't remember the 4th one, but I'm pretty sure it has to do with color. Okay, you have literally in this picture, the brightest object is the control panel right in the center. His face is visible. There's high contrast between him and the control panel. You're immediately drawn to this guy thinking about what's going on. This is a good photo. I really like this image. Honestly, this one would be in my photo book. If I printed a black and white photo book, this one would go in it somewhere. I'd figure out how to work this photo in. I like this picture. This is cool. I like it mainly because it's not the classic, she's looking straight at the camera and smiling for the photo. You've caught life in motion, and you've caught it to where you actually got a natural expression instead of the classic just looking at the camera, big possum grin smile. That annoys me to no end for some reason now. I cannot stand that. I don't know what the deal is with that. But yeah, this is a pretty cool photo. The wall is distracting because it's so bright, probably. So if you was to get into Photoshop and just like select this area and then this panel right here and desaturate them a little bit and maybe darken them just a touch, and pull some of that distraction away from the person. But the face draws you in because it's a human face. Immediately draws you in. This is awesome. Window light never lets you down. I never pass up good window light, ever. This is apparently a north-facing window, or it's an east-facing window. sunset, you know. But yeah, this is a cool photo. I love it because the face is illuminated, but it falls away into darkness immediately behind it. So you're instantly drawn to the brightest subject and the face instantly. And then the face is in high contrast with the rest of the head because of the black background. This is a cool photo. I like this. There is a little bit of distraction with what appears to be an art easel behind her, but you don't notice it unless you're just looking for some reason to complain. Otherwise, I mean, if I hadn't been physically just trying to find it, I wouldn't even have noticed it because you immediately, your eyes are drawn to her face. Cool photo, Hassan. This is a cool picture. Now, what's cool about this picture is you have depth because you have background stuff going on. You can see that it's some kind of a public gathering event. You have the girls playing the game with the ball, and they're actively engaged, and you can see their faces. It has all the properties of a quality photo. So now you've got the technical aspect out of the way. It's telling a story too. So, you know, they're having fun playing a game at what looks to be like 4th of July fireworks day or whatever. You know, this is a cool family photo. These are the kind of photos I try to take of family events. I don't like to just take pictures of people standing in front of a wall in the house, so, you know, and then they've got the possum grin. You know, it's like, that's just boring. Nobody looked at those photos. Everybody has them. Nobody ever looks at them. People look at these photos. This is the kind of pictures that people want to see in a photo album. You know, they'll go, oh yeah, I remember when you played that game, because they've got something to talk about other than just a static person. Number 2 thing, pet peeve for me of family photos. Christmas morning. Let's document that I got this lens for Christmas. Nobody ever in the history of ever looks at those pictures. You're wasting your time. Don't take them. I can't get out of it. Teresa obligates me to take them of her. But otherwise, I take them of like the people interacting with their object, or, you know, or 2 people showing it between the 2, or they're messing with it together. But nobody cares that I got a lens for Christmas. In 10 years, they're not going to care one iota and look at that picture and go, oh, I remember when he got that lens. That was so cool. They're not going to do that. Excuse me. This is the kind of stuff they'll remember, though. That's a cool photo. I like this one, but not as much as the other one. The other black and white of the control panel tells a better story. He just looks like this one. Excuse me. This one looks posed, and it doesn't look like it. It has a documentary feel or a voyeuristic feel because it's black and white and it's in a room. You know, you're not in a studio with a neutral backdrop or whatever. But it comes across as posed, and it doesn't have the same feel. Dude, this has feel. This image tells a story. He looks like he's stressed out. He's trying to solve his problems. He's trying to take his weight off his feet. Life's gotten to him. He needs a break. I mean, just look at it. This picture tells a story. I bet this chat has been blowing up. Yep. Oh, look at that. These were all candids. Nice. Yeah, I'm catching up now. Let's see. Greg says, yeah, I like the soldier photo. Yeah, me too. I saw my wifey. It was her birthday. She was watching the kids, making sure they didn't get out of control. Oh. Let me see. That's your wife? Dude, you scored a home run. Let's see. My house faces east to west. Yeah, mine faces north. But the whole, well, it faces northeast-ish or northwest-ish. I mean, my bad. But it's mostly north. We have a eastern side of the house is all glass pretty much. So we get a lot of evening sun. In the winter, it's nice because it heats the house. The sun comes through the window. The afternoon lights at my house are awesome. Yeah, I would agree. You was able to get some really epic photos of that lens for me. Okay, you can tell Hassan is a photographer, and I'm going to tell you why. Because he says, the girl on the left, let me go back to the picture. The girl on the left is his daughter. So this girl here is his daughter. Okay, he says he took it with his D3400, and it's a little blurry. Nobody except photographers will ever notice that. I have figured that out too. People, you can have some pretty crappy photos, and as long as the people are doing something interesting, people love it. It can be out of focus. It can be focused on their nose and not their eyes. People love them. They don't care. Photographers care. The average person could care less. Now, if they're paying $1,000 for a print package from a wedding photo shoot or whatever, you best get your stuff together and get the eye in focus. But these kind of photos, if they're blurry, they don't care. They don't care. They love them anyway. I'm looking at this picture, and it looks wonderful to me. I'm going to get my readers on it so I can see better. Yeah, you're being overcritical. That's a wonderful photo, Hassan. There is nothing wrong with that. A little blurry. Welcome to street photography. But this one has my attention. That's a keeper. That one and the little girls. Both of them are great photos. Yeah. Thank you for sending them over. Dude, that's some pretty epic photography right there. Oh, I need to check. I haven't done this in a while. Let's see. Where are we at on time? What's this? I don't want to see that. No. 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 Oh, here we go. Okay. Yeah, I got about 10 more minutes. I was wanting to make sure. John Larson, how you doing tonight? Thank you for jumping in on the stream too. Yeah, I've gotten to where I'm doing basically late night with Dave. Let me switch this back over. Yeah, it's going to be late night with Dave. I'm playing with the lighting scheme to see if I can figure out what I like best. I've come to the conclusion that I like red directly behind me. It seems to show up the best on the wall because the light's not right by the wall. And I don't have them little bar lights that are fancy like all the other YouTube streamers have. And over here I got a blue. I'm using gels on these lights. If I pull the gel off, see the gel. It's just, you can see now it's white. But I just have a little, well, there we go. Now I'm back in color. But I actually consider doing these streams in monochrome because the color of the room is just kind of black. It's just kind of boring. And so I figured I'd get a couple of these little LED lights. They're on little tripods. Here. And, it's just USB powered LEDs. And that way I could like add some color, separation. I learned a trick from Sean Tucker. He talks about how he shoots his videos, and I set my camera up like he did, and I really like it. You set the white balance in the camera to 5500 Kelvin. You set your key light to 5500 Kelvin, And then whatever colors you put on the wall doesn't affect the color of your face. You know, it doesn't make you yellow or whatever, because the camera's trying to figure out how to balance the light between blue and red, and you know, so you don't have mixed colors over time with your lighting. You know, some days you're more blue, some days you're more yellow or whatever. And I thought that's pretty smart. You know, it locks it down so it's consistent. And you know, and I'm in the right, like, color science. It works. So yeah, I set mine up like he did. I do have one more light shining on this lampshade to give it some like shape in this corner, because those black window shades just create a black square on the wall. I thought about putting a little frame in the, like a subframe in the picture that has something like a poster right here. But that'll come later. I have already added like the border around the video and stuff like that. So I just have to figure out how to do the picture in picture and stuff. And I want to get it. I'm playing with it. I'm still learning. But yeah, I've had a good time streaming tonight with you guys. Sean is amazing. Yes, he is. Thanks, David. The soldier one is one of my favorites, for good reason. I would print that photo. I would absolutely print that and put it in my hobby room. Yep, Greg's got to go to bed too. Yeah, it's 11:30 here in Georgia. It's 10:30 in Hassan's world. Thank you for the constructive criticism. You're welcome. I need to look up the information on that again, because there was 4 things that the human eye is drawn to in a photo immediately, and street photographers capitalize on it heavily. It was the highest contrast, the brightest light, human faces, and one other thing, and I don't remember what that 4th one is now. I'm pretty sure it has to do with colors, like prime colors or something like that. Complementary colors, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, it could have been leading lines. I don't remember. Hassan's working. Shh. But yeah, I like Sean Tucker. I've watched a bunch of his videos. He has a really interesting past. He talks about it occasionally. Like, he's from South Africa, and he was in the ministry or something for a while, the way he talked. I don't know actually what he did in the ministry, but he did something in the ministry. But he talks about it occasionally. Like, it'll come up in his monologues. All right. Okay. It's about time for me to pull the plug on this, because I got to get up at like 4:30 in the morning myself. I've had a good time, and this is probably not going to become a daily event, but it's going to happen at least once a week, maybe twice, if I can get subject matter, things to actually talk about, and be able to be engaging. I may segue it into more ham radio stuff too, because I'm wanting to start integrating some of that into my channel a little along. I actually want to do videos about the ham radio stuff I do. I already shoot photos of the events, so I'm considering integrating some of that, because it's interesting to me. It really is. I really do like it. I mean, a person doesn't have that kind of radio gear stacked up right here and not like it. So, but yeah, I appreciate y'all's time. And if you haven't done it yet, hit the like button. Give me a thumb up. And let's see here. And I have a video coming out Saturday, so if you're not subscribed, do that, and you'll see that. And there's a little bell down there. You know how the bell thing works. Everybody knows by now. Don't even have to explain it. And until next time, I'm going to tell you to get your camera out and to go take a picture with it. Because if you don't, who will? Somebody's got to document your family. May as well be you. You're the guy with the camera, or gal, at this point. I mean, there's just about as many women using cameras in photography now than there is guys. So it's not a male dominated subject at all. But yeah, who, if not you, then who? So until next time, this is David, the Georgia photographer, and I appreciate you watching, and y'all take care of yourself. All right. We'll see you later. Bye-bye. Let me see what I do here. Oh, I get to do this.